Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Alo Jagata Samsare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Daya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare Daya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Patita Pavana Hetu Tavayavatara Mosamapatita Prabhu Napaidehara Patita Pavana Hetu Patita Pavana Hetu Tavayavatara Mosamapatita Prabhu Napaidehara Mosamapatita Prabhu Ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Bolokana Koro Ami Boroduki Ha Prabhu Nityananda Ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Bolokana Koro Ami Boroduki Doya Korosi Tapati Advaita Goswami Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nityam Doya Korosi Tapati Advaita Goswami Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nityam Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Ahaswarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhata Juga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha Rupa Raghunatha Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhata Juga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokanatha Doya Koro Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamada Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamada Doya Koro Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamada Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamada Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Doyalu Jagata Samsare Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Doyalu Jagata Samsare Prabhu Daya Koro More Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Daya Guru Jagata Samsare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Vina Ke Daya Tata Samsare Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Gaura Purnima Mahamahotsava ki jai, Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have the association of His Holiness Bhakti Vijnana Goswami Maharaj at our newly inaugurated ISKCON Cultural Center, the new temple. So Maharaj has come to the old temple many times, but the first time to this new temple. How many of you are hearing from Maharaj for the first time? First time? Oh, many of you. I'd like to briefly introduce Maharaj. Maharaj is originally from Tashkent, Russia. So Maharaj was born in the time when it was a communist regime. But very tough to practice any kind of spirituality. And Maharaj used to say that we were forced to be atheists. That was the time when Maharaj was there. But during 1980s, Maharaj got introduced to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and that attracted him very much. He started deeply studying Bhagavad Gita. Although he was a scientist, molecular biology scientist, but still he got so much attraction to Bhagavad Gita. Then he started deeply studying. Then he joined the ISKCON society and was deeply touched by the message of Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj took initiation from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and he took sannyas in the year 2001, and he had served in the capacity of GBC for Russia and many other places. There's a long list of places where Maharaj served as GBC. And Maharaj is also an initiating spiritual master in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Shishya Parampara. Maharaj speaks very extensively on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrta. And especially his lectures are very much appealing to the intellectual class of devotees. Personally, I like Maharaj's lectures very much. They're very deep, philosophical, at the same time very relishable. So I'd like to welcome Maharaj here to our center. Maharaj is giving association today and tomorrow. So today morning we have this class, and evening also we have the class on Bhagavad Gita, and tomorrow morning also Srimad Bhagavatam class. So let's welcome Maharaj by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So we will read a few verses from the 17th chapter of Lila Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. And I will have chosen to speak because I was given freedom to choose my topic. I have chosen to speak on the topic of Gaya Gamana Lila of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was the turning point in his life and in many senses in our own life. And he took initiation from Sri Iswara Puri. So we'll speak on this Gaya Gamana Lila, but I will first read a couple of verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Let's start from the verse number 7. Vayuvyadi Chali Kaila Prema Prakash Bhaktagana Laya Kaila Vividha Vilas. Translation. In his youth, the Lord exhibited his ecstatic love of Krishna on the plea of disturbance of the bodily airs. Accompanied by his confidential devotees, he enjoyed various pastimes in this way. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to Ayurvedic treatment, the entire psychological system is conducted by three elements, namely Vayu, Pitta, and Kapha, air, bile, and mucus. Secretions within the body transform into other secretions like blood, urine, and stool, and if there are disturbances in the metabolism, the secretions turn into kapha, mucus, by the influence of the air within the body. This is for those who are preparing for new pandemic of COVID, they should know this. According to the Ayurvedic system, when the secretion of bile and formation of mucus disturb the air circulating within the body, 59 varieties of disease may occur. One such disease is craziness. On the plea of disturbance of the bodily air and metabolism, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu acted as if crazy. Thus, in his school, he began to explain the grammar of verbs through Krishna consciousness. Explaining everything in grammar in relationship to Krishna, the Lord induced his students to refrain from worldly education. For it is better to become Krishna conscious and in this way attain the highest perfectional platform of education. On these grounds, Sri Jiva Goswami later compiled the grammar entitled Harinamamrita Vyakarana. People in general consider such explanations crazy. Therefore, the Lord's purpose in his attitude of craziness was to explain that there is nothing within our experience but Krishna consciousness, for everything may be dovetailed with Krishna consciousness. These pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been very vividly described in the Chaitanya Bhagavata Chaitanya Madhyakanda chapter 1. Text number 8. Tabira Karila Prabhu Gayate Gaman Iswara Purira Sangye Tathai Milan. Thereafter the Lord went to Gaya. There he met Iswara, Srila Iswara Puri. Sri Chaitanya, purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya to offer respectful oblations to his forefathers. This process is called Pindadan. In Vedic society, after the death of a relative, especially one's father or mother, one must go to Gaya and there offer oblations to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, hundreds and thousands of men gather in Gaya daily to offer such oblations or Shraddha. Following this principle, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also went there to offer Pinda to his dead father. Fortunately, he met Ishvara Puri there. And then the text number 9. Diksha Anantari Hoila, Premera Prakash, Deshe Agamana Puna Premera Vilas. In Gaya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was initiated by Ishvara Puri, and immediately afterwards he exhibited signs of love of Godhead. He again displayed such symptoms after returning home. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya, accompanied by many of his disciples, he became sick on the way. He had such a high fever that he asked his students to bring water that had washed the feet of brahmanas. And when they brought it to the Lord, the Lord drank it and was cured. Therefore, everyone should respect the position of the Brahmana as indicated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Neither the Lord nor his followers displayed any disrespect to the Brahmanas. The followers of Lord must be prepared to offer Brahmanas all due respect, but preachers of Lord Chaitanya's cult object if someone presents himself as a Brahmana without having the necessary qualifications. The followers of Lord Chaitanya cannot blindly accept that everyone born in a Brahmana family is a Brahmana. Therefore, one should not indiscriminately follow the Lord's example of showing respect to Brahmanas by drinking water that has washed their feet. Gradually, the Brahmana families have become degraded because of the contamination of Kali Yuga. Thus, they misguided people by exploiting their sentiments. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ajanulambit Bhujo Kanakavadatu Sankirtanai Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksha Vishwambaro Dvijavaru Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priya Guru Karunavataro Yantah Pravishya Mama Vachimimam Prasuktam Sanjeevayata Kila Shakti Darak Swadhamna Anyam Shahasta Charana Shravanat Vagadi Pranannamo Bhagavate Purushaya Tuti Pasyastu Vishwasya Kalak Prasidatam Dayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodiyam Manascha Badram Vajata Tadokshache Aveshyatam Nomati Adhyahai Tuti Hare Krishna. I'm very happy to be back to this beautiful temple. Of course, I am for the first time in this particular building, but I'm not for the first time in Bangalore. I dearly respect and love devotees in Bangalore, so thank you for giving me this opportunity to address you. Because we are preparing ourselves for celebrating Gaur Purnim, which is the festival commemorating the purpose of Lord coming to this Kali Yuga to deliver all of us. Since we are preparing ourselves to this joyous and wonderful event, we are discussing different aspects of Lord's pastimes in the morning before Gaur Purnim. And I have chosen to speak on this Gayagamana Lila because, as Srila Prabhupada showed, even in this three purports which we read, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could fulfill his mission of distributing love of God only when he himself was officially initiated by Ishvara Puri. It is very clearly said in the first verse which we read that Lord Chaitanya, before the initiation by Ishvara Puri, before his Gaya Gamana Lila, before meeting with Ishvara Puri and taking mantra from him, he was full of ecstatic love of God. Of course, some people, including his mother, thought that is some sort of craziness. And his mother was applying some special oil on his head, some Shiva Taila, to bring him back into normalcy. Because sometimes he was displaying some very unusual kind of behavior. But even though he was displaying this completely ecstatic behavior, he was not able, of course he was able, he is always God, but in his Lila, he's showing us the process, the proper way of doing things. He was not able to inflict or infect, let us say, using the pandemic language, infect anyone else by love of Godhead. It's a special kind of infectious disease which is transferable from one person to another person. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself advented to this world just for this purpose, to show what is love of God, how beautiful it is, how powerful it is, how enjoyable it is, how joyful it is, and then to start this pandemic of Krishna Prema. This pandemic of Krishna consciousness, there is nothing new about pandemic. Originally, it was started by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, and he wants this pandemic to spread all over the world, but he shows the proper way of infecting other people or transmitting this craziness into the heart of other people. So he himself was displaying these beautiful symptoms of love of God. And of course, sometimes it was very unusual, because sometimes he was beating his wife Vishnu Priya on the pretext of being crazy. But in general, as Vrindavan Das Thakur explains in Chaitanya Bhagavata, where this pastime is described in great details, and the Lord lived a very ideal life of a Brahmana. He was teaching his students, he was earning money by teaching students, by getting the free donations for his teaching, and he was displaying the ideal behavior of a Brahmana, and every now and then he would manifest ecstatic symptoms. But again, the point which I want to make is that, to achieve love of God, there is a path. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came himself, and even though he was sometimes displaying this completely spontaneous and unbelievable symptoms of love of God, he nevertheless showed us the systematic way how to attain it. That was his purpose. He's coming as the teacher of love of God in Kali Yuga to explain that love of God is a systematic process. You have to follow a certain pattern to achieve love of God as an inevitable result of this process. Even though love of God is, it cannot be completely placed into some, boundaries of certain process. Nevertheless, there is a scientific process. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this Gaya Gamana Lila, explains where should we start? What is the starting point? Whereas the starting point of this beautiful journey, which will ultimately bring us to the lotus feet of Krishna, full of love. Not in the condition of moksha. People, they're seeking for moksha and they say, moksha means that ultimately come to God. But ultimately, we do not want just to come to God. It's not a big deal to come to God. You will come to God, you will look at Him, and you'll say, yes, bye-bye, I will go to take prasadam. you know, Coming to God is not a big deal. Getting liberation, getting some kind of moksha, living in one planet with God or whatever is not a big deal. It's not such a big achievement. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he said, if you want to come to God with something which you can offer to Him. Not just formal, Haribol, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You have my business, I have my business. No, coming to God means I come to God and I want to offer my heart to Him. So how to do this? This is a beautiful journey, how to come to God with heart full of love. How to gradually fill up our empty heart with love by following this process. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows himself. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, he is very emphatic. This is the last chapter of his Adi Lila, because Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Bhagavata is completely devoted to the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement, when he started Sankirtan movement. But the last chapter is Gaya Gamana Lila. So before Sankirtan movement, before Lord Chaitanya ventured this Sankirtan movement by coming out from his from the house of Srivas Pandit and on the streets of Navadvip and distributing love of God, he himself went to Gaya. But before that, Vrindavan Das Thakur makes a very important point. He says that the Lord was leading ideal life of a Brahman. He was leading an ideal life of a member of Varnashrama society. He was very pure in his life. He was following all the rules and regulations of Smriti Shastra. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, he says that the purpose of this is dual. The first purpose of showing this, that this is the starting point of our journey towards love of God, is to show that, pure life within Varnashrama is very much necessary because it prepares the heart to receive the love. The Lord is ready to give the love, but not anyone can receive the love. If the heart is contaminated, if the heart is dirty, we will not be able to appreciate love. We may even feel sometimes love, but because the heart is dirty, we will think that, no, this is some sentiment which I have. Let me do something more practical. So he says the first purpose of the Lord leading the ideal life of the member of Varnashrama, a Brahmana in this case, the very highly placed Brahmana in his case, is to show that this is a necessary preliminary step towards love of God. But the second purpose of his leading this life is to show that ultimately it's futile. It's important and futile at the same time. It's important because it prepares us to spiritual life. It's not spiritual life itself. Sometimes people think that leading Varnashrama life, being Brahmana or being this or that, it's already spiritual life. It's not spiritual life. It's a regulated, beautifully regulated material life. It's purposeful material life, but its purpose is to come to spirituality. And if this life, however pure, however good and correct and however sincere doesn't lead you to spirituality, it's completely useless. Useless varnashram, useless Sanatan Dharma. Because ultimately, is the highest Dharma is Prema Dharma. If this notion doesn't come to you, if you don't uh, really understand it, then everything what you do is useless. And in this Gaya Gamana Lila, the Lord shows this gradual process of coming or this spiritual awakening. When we really understand that, you know, the purpose of life is not to lead very pure life according to rules and regulations of Varnashram. The purpose of life is not to be happy. You know, when you live very pure life, you become naturally happy. You're loving yourself, and because you're so loving, you're attracted. Uh, you know, so many other people are attracted to you, and the exchange of love makes you happy. But this is not the ultimate purpose of life. You may be very happy living this life, uh, pure life in Varnashrama society, but still, deep down your heart, you will be not satisfied. And different rituals of Varnashrama have a very specific purpose. Ultimately, all the rituals which are recommended in Varnashrama, uh, uh, the purpose of them is to bring you to the meeting with the devotee. And therefore, you know, the whole beginning of this Lila is that Lord Chaitanya goes to Gaya to perform Shraddha ceremony. And that's a completely Rajasic ceremony according to Varnashrama system. It's not a very highly, you know, place thing, but the Lord uses this pretext of going to Gaya to perform Shraddha, to show that no matter how you meet with the devotee, the most important you meet with the devotee. Whatever pretext is. It may be because you want to perform some ceremony for your deceased parents and going to Gaya or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The point is that you have to do all these rituals, but the essence of these rituals, the purpose of all these rituals is ultimately bring you closer to the. So this is a beautiful pastime. The Lord has many disciples, and these disciples are very enthusiastic disciples, very devoted to his master, to his guru. And he goes with this whole entourage of his disciples to Gaya. And he is displaying the natural tendency of a guru to be little proud. I mean, little or not little. But the natural tendency, if you have followers, is to become proud, isn't it? You know, people, there's so much after this gaining more and more followers because it gives them some prestige and some understanding how important I am. Look, I am the leader, and everyone else is my follower. And look how many of them are there. Very impressive crowd. You know, they're all my followers. So he goes, he performs this ritual of going to Gaya with many of his disciples and, you know, enjoying sort of this position. And in the middle of this journey, which Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport of the last verse, when he reaches Mandara mountain, and he goes to this Mandara mountain and visiting the temple of Madhusudan, uh, he all of a sudden falls sick. COVID, corona, really sick, much more sick than from an average person from corona. High fever, really, really, really high fever. And his disciples are worried. totally, completely worried. They don't know the reason why all of a sudden he's so sick and why all of a sudden the fever is so high. And they're trying to bring any remedies, but nothing works. The fever becoming higher and higher and higher. And actually, this whole disease is symbolic. The Lord, by displaying this Lila of getting sick on the way, He's showing us that actually the pride is the disease. And the pride is the disease of fever. When we become proud, we become feverish. And the fever increases and increases and increases because pride is never satisfied. Pride always wants to increase. We always want to increase our causes for pride, and there is no remedy for this. Normal remedy don't work. The only remedy from the disease of pride, from this high fever of pride, is humility. So his disciples are trying to cure him, treating him as the guru, as the master, and everything else. But then he himself says, I think there is only one remedy. There is only one medicine which can cure me from this high fever. If you bring me the water which washed the feet of a pure Brahman, he specifically says pure Brahman, not just anyone who is driving rickshaw and, proud of his Brahminical Janma. So, and again, as I said, there is a very, whatever the Lord performs in his Lila, in his life, he is doing it for a purpose. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you may live a very pure life of Varnashrama follower. But then the problem of this will remain because, the life of a follower of Varnashrama will make you proud. Brahmanas are proud, Kshatriyas are very proud, Vaishyas are extremely proud, and Shudras are very arrogant. When you perform your dharma, when you do all the rituals, the tendency is there. You become very proud. I'm so pure. I'm so good. I perform my duties so perfectly. Look at me. So this pride is there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he shows this and he says this pride is the fever. That's the disease which we all have. And the cure of this disease is humility. And humility, what humility does, please listen very carefully because it's very important. Humility opens our heart. The pride closes our heart. When we are proud, we physically can feel how our heart is closed and we look down at everyone else. We are not really receptive to accept something higher because there is nothing higher. We are the highest. The highest achievement is already there. I'm so pure, I'm so good. But humility makes our heart soft. And the soft heart is the receptive heart. The proud heart is the heart which rejects anything higher. The proud heart is the heart which does not allow us to go further in our journey. If we want to know the truth, we have to be ready to admit our ignorance. And it means to become humble. And Brahmanas, who are Brahmanas? Who are pure Brahmanas? Pure Brahmanas are those people who know the truth. Only those, why they're called Brahmanas? Because they're supposed to know Brahman. Because they're supposed to know the greatest of all. So the water which washed the feet of a Brahmana is the symbol of this thirst, or which is there among our material life, the thirst to receive the higher truth. If this thirst is not there, and subsequent humility, if the subsequent humility doesn't come to our heart, it means we're not ready to start our spiritual life. Spiritual life means I'm not satisfied with whatever is there. I need to know more, and for that, and because I need to know more, it means that I'm ignorant. And because I'm ignorant, I have to become humble in front of those who have this higher knowledge. This is a very important first step. Of course, the first step, the preliminary step is to lead a very nice and pure life according to Dharma Shastra. It's important. There's no doubt. But then this pure life of Dharma Shastra, of good person, good sattvic person, will have to awaken the thirst for higher knowledge. And with this thirst for higher knowledge, the humility also comes into your heart. So it's very interesting. The Lord says, please bring me the water from the lotus feet of a Brahmana, of a pure Brahmana. And it definitely reminds us the past time when Lord Krishna also became sick in Vrindavan. And Narada Muni became very worried. Lord Krishna had terrible headache, and he was suffering from this headache. And Narada Muni said, what can cure you, my dear Lord? He said, the dust from the lotus feet of my devotees can only cure my headache. And of course, we know that nobody wanted to give the dust from their lotus feet to the Lord. And when Narada Muni came to gopis, the gopis said, yeah, all our dust is yours. No problem. We will scrape a lot of dust. Let us go to hell. Let us, Krishna, be happy. No problem. We are not caring about us. So here, by more or less reenacting this pastime, also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us. He is teaching us that humility means to accept somebody who is pure, who is a devotee, who is pure devotee, as higher than you. To understand the power of devotion. So he is displaying this pastime to teach us that this is the starting point of real spiritual life. Humility is the starting point when we appreciate the power of devotion and power of knowledge, because devotion means knowledge, definitely. So the Lord comes. Vrindavan Das Thakur explains that after this pastime, when this pastime is over, miraculously he is cured. For many days he was sick with this very high fever, dangerously high fever. And then he drinks the water and he says, oh, I'm okay, let's go. So miraculously he is cured from this disease, and he goes to Gaya, and he reaches Gaya, and in the outskirts of Gaya, he first takes the snan in Brahmakund and makes oblations to his forefathers. And then it's very interesting. He comes to Gaya, and he comes to Chakravena, the place where the lotus feet of the Lord are imprinted. When the Lord stepped down on the head of Gaya Sura, and the imprinted his lotus feet there. And what he sees, what is the first impression? After being humble, he first sees the grandeur of the worship of the Lord. He's very much impressed by this. The Brahmanas are chanting mantras, and the Brahmanas are applying sandalwood paste on the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Brahmanas are offering the garlands of the flowers to the lotus feet of the Lord, and everyone is this very beautiful, joyful atmosphere which is there when we perform real Vedic rituals. You know, Vedic rituals are beautiful. The chanting mantras are so majestic, you know, and all these beautiful rituals, you know, offering some flowers, some sandalwood paste, and everyone becomes joyful. So the Lord, because his heart is open, you know, his heart is open during this humiliating pastime of drinking Charanamrita from the lotus feet of Brahmana. His heart is open, and then he takes what he takes. He takes the emotional content of this Vedic ritual. You know, sometimes we sit in this Vedic ritual, especially these yagyas, which are performed by, you know, not very qualified ISKCON Brahman. Sorry. Because in ISKCON we're not very good in all these yagyas. We're only good in one yagya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Everything else is just for pro forma sake. Anyways, uh, you know, sometimes we are present in these rituals and we don't understand the essence of these rituals. We only, you know, performing some mechanics of these rituals. We're performing some external, you know, mechanics of the ritual, whereas the essence of the ritual is to impress upon us how great is God. You know, to impress upon us, to give us this emotion of grandeur and beauty of God. You know, this is the emotional content of the ritual. And if the ritual is performed properly, you will become impressed. There will be very deep samskara, how beautiful it is, how beautiful is the Lord. You know, it's amazing. He left his imprint of his lotus feet, and you know, for thousands and thousands of years, non-stop, the Brahmanas constantly chant his glories, being uh, at his lotus feet and serving his lotus feet by all these ingredients of offering fruits and offering flowers and offering uh, sandalwood paste. In one sense, you know, Vedic ritual is very natural. It's very simple. You know, you offer just some fruits. You know, like today somebody came to me and brought me some fruits from Shalagram Shila. Take these fruits from Shalagram Shila. It's very natural, you know, some fruits. You know, Lord doesn't ask you to, you know, like yesterday, Ravi Kirti showed me this Nityananda Baba who is sitting on the golden throne and all clad in gold and everything else. Lord doesn't say, you know, worship me with gold. He says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tayam. Just one fruit, one leaf, something like this. But if you do it properly, then you understand the grandeur of God. He's so great and he's accepting my offering. And I feel he's accepting my offering. And, you know, of course, the mantras of the Vedas, they give you this understanding of this. And, you know, the Brahmanas, the Lord Chaitanya is there. He's visiting this place where the imprint, the footprint of the lotus feet of the Lord is there. And the Brahmanas are chanting and glorifying the lotus feet of the Lord. The Brahmanas are saying, Shri Lakshmi holds this lotus feet of the Lord as the most dear to her life. The goddess of fortune, who is, you know, the goddess of all the opulences, the goddess of everyone is seeking the favor of goddess Lakshmi, and she's humbly worshipping this lotus feet. And Lord Shiva, he brings this lotus feet and closes them to his bosom. He just, takes them and worships them. And Bali enjoys them when the Lord puts Bali Maharaja, powerful Maharaja, enjoys them when the Lord puts them to his head. So these brahmanas, they are glorifying again and again and again the lotus feet, the power of the lotus feet of the Lord. How precious it is. And the same Lord, he came and he left this lotus feet to us. We have the same opportunity as Lakshmi Devi, have the same opportunity as Lord Shiva, have the same opportunity as Lord Brahma, who took the water from which washed the lotus feet of the Lord and his kamandalo, and this water became Ganga. So the brahmanas, they're glorifying and again and again the power, the purifying power of the lotus feet of the Lord. And Lord Chaitanya sees how sincerely they worship this lotus feet of the Lord, and he is overwhelmed. And this is for the first time. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, for the first time, the ecstatic symptoms come to him. How come for the first time? Before that, he was already, crazy Nimai. He was already doing some crazy things, teaching grammar in a very crazy way. Everything is the Lord, nothing else is there. No, because it's bona fide. Because he shows systematically what is the step by step by step. You open your heart by humility. You go to a holy place. You meet with some transcendental manifestation of the Lord in the holy place. In this particular holy place of Gaia, this is the Vishnupad, the feet of the Lord. And then you see how others glorify the Lord, and then you feel the emotions. The emotions which they feel, which are actually stored in the holy places, being reflected in your pure heart or receptive heart. So that's what happened. That's what's supposed to happen with us when we go to pilgrimage, when we go to Vrindavan, when we go to Mayapur, when we go to Gaya, any other place, when we go to different tirthas. Of course, we have to understand that the purpose of going there is to receive the glimpse of the love towards the Lord, which is stored in this particular place. I was in Udupi now, and I met some, very young devotee. Maybe he's present here. I don't know. Uh, uh, he didn't know who I am, but he started telling me that he's aspiring for Lokanath Maharaj, and he takes initiation. This, that. He says, I will go to Yatra. I said, where are you going to Yatra? He said, I will go to one, I don't remember the place. He said, it's very beautiful Shiva temple, and there Nandi is growing. The stone Nandi is growing. I will go there. The purpose of Yatra is not to go to some place where some miracle takes place. It's okay if you need miracles, no problem. Go there, strengthen your faith by miracles. But actually, the purpose of Yatra is not this. The purpose of Yatra is to receive the glimpses of love which are there. Those people who worship the lotus feet of the Lord in these places, their worship, their emotions, they are stored there. They are in the ether of these places. They saturate these places, and we go there and gratefully receive this gift of spiritual emotions there. And Lord Chaitanya shows, and therefore Vrindavan Das Thakur says, for the first time, he experiences the real spiritual emotions. Because for the first time, he opens his heart in his Lila, of course. And for the first time, he shows this is what it is. I go there as a humble pilgrim. And as a humble pilgrim, I try to respect everyone who is there and receive what they have in their heart. And the Lord Chaitanya, you know, all of a sudden, all the hairs in his body stood on end, and the tears started flowing like Ganga river. And all the brahmanas, they look at him and say, God, who is that? He's so beautiful. He's crying and crying and crying. And, you know, they look at him and they also start crying. So this is how it is. You know, he becomes very impressed by the lotus feet of the Lord. And he says, this is my goal. He has this first experience in the sense that experience which will become the goal of his life. Because before that, what was the goal of his life? He was displaying his Pandit Lila, his Vyakarana Lila. You know, he was teaching Vyakarana and showing other people. So his goal of life was to know the Vedic knowledge. For the first time, he shows the goal of life is the lotus feet of the Lord. I want to achieve the lotus feet of the Lord because just being present next to them, I feel so blissful. I feel so immensely blissful. And at this very moment, please listen very carefully because this is the description, the important description of the dynamic of spiritual life. And this very moment, when he is crying at the lotus feet of the Lord in Gaia, at this very moment, Iswara Puri shows up at the same place. Krishna brings Iswara Puri at this very moment when the Lord needs him the most. And the Lord looks at Iswara Puri, and of course he knows Iswara Puri. He met with Iswara Puri before in Navadvip. Iswara Puri spent almost 1 month in Navadvip, couple of weeks at least in Navadvip, staying in the house of Nandanacharya. And he had some interaction and he took some prasadam at Lord Chaitanya's home. And Lord Chaitanya, by bidding farewell to him, he said, sometime in the future I will meet with you again. So at this moment of time, when he's so overwhelmed with the spirituality, with the flow of spiritual emotions which are coming to him from this chanting of the Vedic hymns of the Brahmanas and from this worship from these Vedic rituals, at this very moment, Iswara Puri comes to this place and Lord Chaitanya looks at him and he says, now I understand everything. Now I understand why did I come here. I came here not to perform Shraddha ceremony, which I thought I'm coming for this. I came here not even to see the lotus feet of the Lord. The real purpose of my coming here is to see you. Because where your lotus feet is there, then the lotus feet of the Lord is there. You know, Tirtha Kurvanti Tirthani, he chants this verse from first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Yudhishthira Maharaj says that, you know, whenever pure devotee is there, then the Lord is there. The Lord is where the pure devotee is. And why I said it's so important to see this coincidence is, of course, we know there is no coincidence. Even in our life, there is no coincidence. Everything has some purpose. Everything has some purpose to teach us. Moreover, there is no coincidence in the Lord's life. So the teaching here is very important. When the sincere desire to worship the Lord through the encounter with some manifestation of the Lord, which are there in this world, when this desire, even if it's a glimpse of sincere desire, a little spark of sincere desire, when this sincere desire comes to your heart, then the Lord arranges your meeting with your spiritual master. He sends you the spiritual master through which you can solidify this desire. You know, but the desire should come first. The sincere desire that I'm not satisfied with whatever offering this world can give to me. I can only be satisfied if I have some transcendent truth, some higher truth, some spiritual experience. And at the same time, some spiritual experience is coming. I remember it's very interesting in my life, in my not very exemplary life. It also like this, I remember very much when I was utterly frustrated. I was doing, as Suvarna Gaura Hari said, molecular biology. I only remember about this when somebody introduces me. Otherwise, I already forget it long ago. So I was doing this. I was more or less, was reenactment of the, early Lila of Nimai Pandit, and he was displaying his scholarly Lila. I was displaying my pastime Lila, of my scientific Lila. You know, I was trying to find the truth by studying science, but I was so utterly frustrated because at one point I understood very clearly that the study of science will not reveal the truth. I just understand it's a scam. It's a big scam. Everyone is trying to, to pose or to pretend that this is the way to know the truth. No, they don't know the truth. you know. Yeah. Recently, I listened to some scientific lecture, and the scientist said that the beauty of the science is that uh, all the mistakes of the science are very practical, or something like this. He said something really ridiculous. you know, yeah, and at that point of my life, I, I didn't feel that this is the way to know the truth. And we all know instinctively, deep in the heart, we know I'm born to know the truth. I have to know the truth. I have to know the higher truth. And in the pursuit of this, in the wrong pursuit of this higher truth, I may go this Lila or that Lila. I may study Sanskrit or I may study molecular biology, but it's all wrong. Uh, the real thing is that to understand that I should know the higher truth, and the higher truth can only be revealed to us. I cannot, by my own endeavors, I cannot find the higher truth. And this is exactly what happened when Lord Chaitanya found himself in front of this imprints of, in front of Vishnupada and Gaia, in front of the imprint of Vishnu's lotus feet. He felt the Lord revealed himself, and that at this very moment, the desire to serve the lotus feet appeared in his heart. As Vrindavan Das Thakur says, at this very moment, the desire to serve his own lotus feet appeared in the heart of the Lord. To show us that he's the Lord himself. He is enacting this pastime for us to understand what is necessary to proceed in this spiritual journey. And he shows that this desire to worship the lotus feet of the Lord and to experience this spiritual experience, which is accompanied by the worshiping lotus feet of the Lord, appeared in the heart of Lord Chaitanya. And at this very moment, Iswara Puri came, and the puzzle became all of a sudden solved. Lord Chaitanya understood everything. Of course, he knew everything from the beginning, but in his pastime, he said, now I understand everything. Now I understand why I met you before, but didn't appreciate you before so much. Didn't really, I was not ready to surrender to your lotus. Yes, I saw you. Yeah, nice, very nice. Nice sadhu, very Krishna. No problem. Come to my home, I will feed you with some prasad. Not yet ready. But this process of opening the hearts through humility through going to a holy place, through having some sort of spiritual experience, and then the spark of desire to serve. Then only the spiritual master. Because the purpose of spiritual master is to receive your service, is to ignite and to fan the spark of desire to serve. By giving you the opportunity to serve, by giving you the mission to serve, by giving you the, by giving you all the facilities to serve. So, like we build this beautiful temple, what it is. It's just, for us the opportunity to serve. The Lord doesn't need this temple. He has so many temples. In every village in India, you have 5 temples. Why do we need one more? Just because we need to serve. We need to serve the way we can serve the Lord. And Iswara Puri comes there, and the Lord becomes overwhelmed and says, "No, I know why I'm here in Gaya, because you are here, and because I want to meet with you." So he goes to Iswara Puri, and he speaks with Iswara Puri, and he enjoys some rasa. And actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who is commenting on these verses of Chaitanya Bhagavata, he says that, unless one is fed up with Vishta Vishaya Rasa, Vishta means stew, Vishaya means sense enjoyment, and Rasa means rasa, the taste. He says, unless one is fed up with this Vishta Vishaya Rasa, the beautiful taste of the stew of material enjoyment, he is not ready to receive the taste for spiritual rasa. To appreciate spiritual rasa, to understand what is spiritual rasa and how valuable it is, you have to first turn away from this material rasa and material enjoyments. And actually, the pilgrimage, going to the holy place, is a very good way to get out from the vicious circle of your, normal life. So when you go in the morning, take your car and go in the morning for 2 hours in the traffic of Bangalore to your office, and then spend, 8 hours in the office and go 2 hours back. And so for that, pilgrimage is there to take you out from this vicious circle of your so-called normal life and give you some spiritual experience. And if you appreciate this spiritual experience, if the real appreciation of spiritual experience is there, then the spiritual master comes to you and says, "You're ready." And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meets with Iswara Puri, and he's becoming convinced. And then, next day, the very next day, Lord Chaitanya is still there in Gaya. The very next day, Iswara Puri himself comes to the dwelling of Lord Chaitanya. And he comes to the dwelling of Lord Chaitanya when Lord Chaitanya is cooking prasadam for himself. He started cooking some rice and some sabji for himself. I don't know how he did it, but he was doing this. And at this very moment, Iswara Puri knocks at the door and says, "May I come in?" And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Yes, this is the most beautiful moment. I just cooked prasadam. Please take and, take the prasadam." And he said, Iswara Puri says, "If I take the prasadam now, what will you eat?" And he said, "No problem. I will cook myself again." And Iswara Puri said, no need to cook again. You share it, half by half. You cooked enough, give me half, and leave half for you. Iswara Puri actually is making a test. He's testing Lord Chaitanya. You said you want to serve. Okay, let's see. You're hungry. you're ready to take your meal? Let's see how you behave. He comes to you and he tests your sincerity, how sincere you are to serve. And Lord Chaitanya says, no, 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 no need. I will cook myself, no problem. I will cook again prasadam. Please take everything which is there. And Ishvara Puri, he eats everything till the single grain of rice. Nothing left. And of course, uh, Lord Chaitanya puts the sandalwood paste on his forehead and garland and serves his lotus feet, and he passes the test. He gives everything which is there with him to him. And then uh, Vrindavan Das Thakur, very interesting, he says that at this moment, while Lord Chaitanya was worshipping Ishvara Puri by applying sandalwood paste on his forehead and worshipping his lotus feet, at this moment, Ramadevi, Lakshmi Devi herself cooked prasadam for the Lord. So he didn't miss much. Ramadevi herself, she cooked prasadam, and the Lord took and he partook the prasadam which was cooked in the meantime. But he showed that he's sincere. I'm ready to serve. I'm there to serve. I'm not for myself. I'm not cooking for myself. I'm doing it for my spiritual master. So next day, the Lord Chaitanya himself goes to Iswarapur and he says, please give me diksha. And it's very interesting also, one more little detail, which is also very significant. When the Iswarapuri himself first come to him to test him and to taste prasadam cooked by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he enters his door, and while entering the door, he's little, drunk with love of God. He's not completely normal. His head is reeling. His ecstatic emotions is there, overwhelming his heart, and he's chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Very interesting, because first Ishvarapuri gave him first initiation, initiating him into this Hare Krishna mantra. And he himself came to the Lord by chanting the names of the Lord and showing how beautiful it is. He himself comes. So when it comes to, to the first initiation, then, the initiative may be with the spiritual master. He comes to his disciple and he says, come on, let's take this holy name of the Lord. But then Lord Chaitanya himself, the very next evening, he goes to Iswarapuri. He bows down to his lotus feet and he says, please give me diksha. Please give me your mercy in the form of diksha mantra. Because what is diksha mantra? Diksha mantra is the mercy, is the mercy given to the disciple, anugraha. It is explained by Srila Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha that the diksha mantra is nothing but anugraha, the concentrated form of the mercy of the Lord given to the disciples through the lips of the spiritual master. So he asks for the initiation, and Ishwarapuri says, do you have recommendations from your temple president? No, he doesn't say it. Says, no problem, I'll give you initiation. I'll give you mantra. Please listen very carefully this mantra. And he gives this 10-syllable mantra, which is mantra about Krishna in Vrindavan, his relationship with gopis. He gives this 10-syllable mantra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And again, very significant point in the whole description. Well, I should finish now, right? So that uh, in the next couple of days, 1 or 2 days, Lord Chaitanya is still there in Gaya. And he sits down and he starts chanting his Gayatri mantra. And he chants his Gayatri mantra silently, as it is supposed to be, in his dhyan, in his deep meditation. He's meditating on uh, Gopijana Vallabha, on the beautiful form of the Lord as Gopinath, as the master of the gopis. And total, complete. It is actually said that even before that, Vrindavan Das Thakur said that when in Gaya, after meeting with Iswara Puri and receiving some mercy from Iswara Puri, different sort of feelings overwhelmed Lord's heart. Sometimes he would feel Vatsalya ras towards the Lord. Sometimes he would feel very acute Dasya ras and he wanted to serve the Lord. Sometimes he would feel Sakya ras. Sometimes he would feel Madhurya ras. Different rasas reflecting, not a single ras. Different rasa were reflecting in his pure heart because his heart was already pure and was capable, restored the ability to reflect the transcendental emotions. But then when he sits down and repeats the mantra, repeats this 10 syllable mantra given to him by Ishvara Puri, that acute sense of separation overwhelms. Where is my Lord? Where is my Lord? Where is He's so beautiful. He so beautifully graces his devotees. Uh, he is performing his eternal pastimes in Vrindavan by uh, dancing rasa dance with the gopis. And here I am. What am I doing here? What am I doing here in this place? What am I doing here? You know, deprived of his association. I need to go to him because separation means the impetus to meet. Separation means, if you're overwhelmed with this vipralamba, it means that you desire the meeting. Vipralamba nourishes your desire to meeting, and he's overwhelmed. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, while commenting on this pastime, he says, this is the mood which Lord Chaitanya brought to us to experience. We have to learn how to experience Vipralamba rasa, Vipralamba mood, the uh, feeling of separation with the Lord. And this is why the mantra is given to us. We have to try to experience this mood of separation. What am I doing here? I still didn't see Krishna. So many years after, I still didn't see Krishna. I still didn't have darshan. I remember, once I went, many times I went to different astrologers, very highly qualified astrologers, and they all said, you will have darshan of Krishna. Still I didn't have. Recently, somebody else said, when you're 80 years old, you will have darshan of Krishna. So some hope is still there. It's gradually vanished. But the point is that, the desire to meet with Krishna has to achieve certain peak, certain level of intensity. The Lord is not so cheap. He is not coming to you just by your demand. Oh yeah, let me see. Okay, nice. No, it doesn't work like this. The desire has to be so acute, so much so that the tears on your eyes will flow. Oh my Lord, I want to see you. Oh my Lord, what am I doing here? My heart is empty because of this separation with you. And, totally overwhelmed by this feeling of separation. Lord Chaitanya says, I'm going. That's it. Enough for this Gaia Lila and other Lilas. Now there is only one Lila, only Vrindavan Lila. No other Lilas. And he's crying and crying and crying. His disciples are coming to him and they say, Master Guru Maharaj, we have to go back to Navadvip. He says, I'm not going to Navadvip. I'm not going back to my family. I'm not going back to the samsara. My only goal in life is Madhura. And he starts crying. And disciples, they try to console him and say, no problem, you will, no problem. When the next vacation is there, you will go to Vrindavan. Now do your duty. I said, no, forget it. No job anymore. No duties anymore. My heart is there in Vrindavan. Uh, and he says, you go back to Navadvip. I'm not going. I'm going to Mathura. My way is different. I'm going to Mathura. And early in the morning, without saying a word to anyone, he starts to Mathura while chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. And he travels for some distance, but all of a sudden he hears the voice from the sky. And the demigods say, it's not time for you to go to Mathura. The time will come when you will go to Mathura, no problem. But now, do your duty. Now, go back to Bangalore and distribute books. Literally, that's what they said to Lord Chaitanya. They said, you came to propagate this movement of love of God. You came to start this Sankirtan movement. Didn't you remember it? Why you're doing this? Now you will go to Mathura and you will drown yourself in Yamuna and, and you will never fulfill the mission for which you came to this material world. You came to this material world to overwhelm, to overflood all this material world with love of Godhead. Go to Navadvip and start your Sankirtan movement. We are your humble servants. The demigods from the sky, they say, we are your humble servant, maybe not so humble at this moment of time, because we want to remind you what is the real purpose of your advent to this earth. Your real purpose is to bring this beautiful Sankirtan movement to the earth so that everyone will start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. And Lord Chaitanya, of course, being obedient to this Akashvani ethereal voice, he turns back and he goes to Navadvip with his disciples, but he is a different person now. Before that, he was great scholar Nimai, pride of Navadvip, and now he is Bhavuk Nimai. He is completely transformed, humble, he is feeling separation with the Lord, and he is ready to serve everyone whom he meets. And this complete transformation, miraculous transformation, impresses everyone. And by this miraculous transformation, Lord Chaitanya actually teaches us what does it mean to preach. To preach means to experience oneself and these different moods of spiritual love, to understand the depths of these experiences and try to transmit the depths of this experience to the hearts of other people. Because this is the only way to correct or to improve or to purify the polluted hearts of the people of Kali. Little town of Navadvip, which is described elaborately by Vrindavan Das Thakur in the beginning of Chaitanya Bhagavata, is a sample, is a model of the whole Kali Yuga society. And nobody was impressed by Advaita Acharya in Navadvip. Although he was so learned, they were respectful to him, but nobody was impressed by him. Advaita Acharya is the powerful incarnation of the Lord. He couldn't preach Krishna consciousness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came. He couldn't do anything unless he took initiation from Iswara Puri, was overwhelmed by this feeling of separation with the Lord, and came back as Bhavuk Nimai, as Nimai who is experiencing Bhav, experiencing love of God at every moment of his life. And then his pastime of preaching and spreading his Sankirtan starts. And we are all beautiful fruits of this pastime. We all result of his emotions, which are still raging in his heart, and we are receiving these raging emotions. This way, getting the purpose in our life. So, thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Let's take some questions.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for a nice class. One question. When we are chanting, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nainam Galata Shrudharaya. So, is that supposed to come with happiness or with Vipralamba Bhav? How should we understand that, that exact?
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought Vipralamba Bhav to us. And the spiritual experience starts with Vipralamba. And Vipralamba makes our desire to meet with the Lord very strong and very pure. And then only we can hope to have some other experiences. But Vipralamba Bhav is the Bhav which he brought, and which we are supposed also to experience. And it's easy in one sense, because when we understand who is the Lord and where I am, where is the Lord and where I am, and what is the difference, what is the gulf of difference between him and myself and my fallen condition, then, we may experience some tears. It may not be pure tears of love of God, but it may be the tears of pity towards ourselves. Still, it's good. Still, these tears have some spiritual origin.
Anyone has any other question?
No.
So, so thank you very much, Maharaj, doing a wonderful session on Lord Chaitanya's Gaya Lila, also taking us to Vrindavan from Gaya, also to Navadvip, and also explaining the wonderful meaning of Diksha and what are the steps by which one gets the mercy of spiritual master, Tirthyatra, then eagerness to serve, then the Lord sends his spiritual master, and the spiritual master bestows his mercy in the form of Diksha, giving the mantra. Thank you very much for wonderfully enlightening all the devotees. So let's thank Maharaj from the core of our heart by loudly once chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. So today evening also Maharaj will be giving a session from 6 to 7:30. So on Bhagavad Gita 2.54, Sthita Prajna. The verse is about Sthita Prajna. So this is open for all. can call your friends, relatives, colleagues. Anybody can come for today evening session. And also Maharaj is taking a japa retreat in Govardhan Dham, in Govardhan Retreat Center. So this is, the dates are April 6, 7, 8, and 9 for 4 days. So it's in Govardhan Retreat Center. It's a new center which is built by ISKCON just on the foothills of Govardhan. So those who wish to attend this 4-day japa retreat can contact His Grace Nirmal Krishna Prabhu, who is standing at the door here. So you can register with him. Hare Krishna. So I'd like to call Caritamrta for
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna, we have small but yet very, very important announcements. First of all, we are invoking prayers for 2 devotees. One is His Grace Ravi Lochana Prabhu is requesting, and his family is requesting prayers for his sister-in-law, Srimati Meera Narayana Mataji, who is suffering from cancer right now. And she is in palliative care. So we have been asked to pray for her. And also joining the prayers along with Ravi Lochan Prabhu is your servant Premadata Gaudas. My mother is also suffering from cancer. The day before yesterday, the reports came that the cancer has entered into her brain. It's a very vital organ. And from 2 days, I've been discussing with doctors, but we all know that without Vaishnava's prayers, mother will not survive. And so for the Srimati Meera Narayan Mataji and my mother, we request for prayers from all of you. So if you can have a Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Also, we have a very important announcement for Wednesday, 20th for this month. We have Amalaki Ekadashi, and the fast breaking